Welcome back, guys. This is Gaming with Austin for episode 87 of the Utopian Community series. Here we are. We're gonna plant some cocoa beans in the areas I've expanded. Here we are. This is a shark! Eventually. Song Fast as a Shark, if I accept, is one of the oldest power metal songs. Heidi, Heido, Haida. Hide. The song Fast as a Shark starts off with high-pitched screaming. High-pitched, powerful metal screaming. Which Halford later used in the song Ram It Down. Along with Ralph Sheepers in the song called The Last Before the Storm. Along with Kai Hansen, from both from Gamma Ray. Then Sheepers ended up forming Primal Fear. let's check on my pumpkins. Heidi, Heido, Haida. Heidi, Heido, Haida. Heidi, Heido, Haida. Heidi, Heido, Haida. Without a speed metal, power metal would sound very different. Let's change. In the meantime, go off to video graphics settings. It's like a see out in the distance the progress I'm making from a distance. Heidi, Heido, Haida. And the power metal back in the 80s sounded a bit more like thrash metal. There's a lot more thrash sounding. Like, sounded a bit more like early Metallica. The reason it sounded a bit more like Metallica is that power metal and thrash metal were just beginning to diverge from speed metal. Hi-dee, hi-do, hi-da. Motorhead was basically one of the pioneers of thrash metal and power. Will soon ultimately become power metal. The reason I'm getting more gathering wood. Once I start putting a roof over the second floor, the first floor above, if you're in Europe, or second floor, or if you're in America, I'd start building more houses. Hi-dee, hi-do, hi-da. Let's talk about some other things too. Imagine a death metal song in which lyrics can actually wake up the most crackish. That'd be really crazy. If the most crackish was real, I'd wake them up with a death clock song. What's really crazy is that some death metal bands can summon pictures of decaying corpses with their vocals. Think of Glenn Benton. Like, his singing vocals are so guttural, it's next to impossible to understand them. That's how guttural his vocals are when he sings. One thing you might not know about Metalocalypse is that Murderface is actually based on Phil Taylor from Motorhead, Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath, and Leslie Mandoki from Genghis Khan. Death clock, death clock, death clock, death clock. Death clock, death clock. Heidi, Heido, Haida. When the world thinks of German music, they think of German music as being one of the bands that helped form the death metal subgenre of heavy metal. One of the most important bands in the history of death metal is Slayer. Especially their song called Raining Blood. Trapped in purgatory. Life is object life. With Slayer, their music tells a story about problems with serial killers. Their lyrics tend to deal with death. If I created a power metal band in which lyrical themes were science fiction and fantasy, and a death metal band in which lyrical themes were Satanism, stuff that's really disgusting, like, that's still related to death. I did it, like, for my heavy metal band. Probably gonna name it The Heart of Steel. Stahlhat would be a more appropriate name. One of the songs I might think about doing, like, I'd start off by making covers for my death metal side project. Usually I would do covers of thrash metal songs, like, especially those, I'd start off some of the songs, I'd do a cover on some Cannibal Corpse songs too, like, especially Rotten Body Landslide, Every Bone Broken, Hammer Smash Face, A Skull Full of Maggots. And eventually, I might think about building an arena in this community. I like to listen to heavy metal. My power metal band would probably be a mix between thrash metal and power metal. It'd have influences from both thrash metal and new wave British heavy metal. One of the songs I might think about doing would be Klassenkampf. The lyrics would be very political. The lyrics to the song would be very political. Like, the lyrics would be extremely political. Like, the lyrics would be strongly anti-fascist. And anti-capitalist. To fit that theme, the vocals would have to get really harsh. The vocals would have to get really harsh. The lyrics would also be anti-authoritarian too. Even the lyrics would be critical of religion too. Like, that'd be my actual heavy metal band. Yeah, it'd still fit the story. It'd be a science. The music would, like, over the course of this music, it'd be a science fiction story taking place millions of years into the future. Klassenkampf would be one of those songs. There'd be 4 factions within the Milky Way and its satellite galaxies. There'd be a capitalist faction whose ultimate goal is plutocracy. A fascist faction, which is brutalitarian ultranationalist. The communist faction, in which the means of production are commonly owned and democratically controlled. And the anarchist faction, too. In which there are no laws. But the end goal of the fascist faction they'd be to take over the entire local group. And rule the entire group, galactic group with an iron fist. Would be to rule the entire galactic group with an iron fist. Literally. Similar to... They'd strongly believe in social Darwinism. Like the fascist faction. They believe in the theory of scientific racism. And scientific racism is actually bullshit. Because the only race there is the human race. In the communist faction, everybody would be treated equally. In which the working class has the most power. While the capitalist class are oftentimes suppressed. They wouldn't count those votes. My fucking goodness. With the fascist-controlled, in the fascist-controlled areas of the local neighborhood, galactic neighborhood, there would be a massive cult of personalities. Like, everybody would have to worship the leader, or else they get executed. Through brutal methods that would be considered really brutal by modern standards. Too brutal by modern day standards. They'd be really brutal. There'd be a massive cult of personality around the dictator. And in the fascist country, like in the fascist-controlled areas of the galactic neighborhood of fascist-controlled areas of the large Magellanic Cloud, the small Magellanic Cloud, the Milky Way, and Sagittarius Galaxy. And in the fascist-controlled areas, it would be absolute monarchy. Another one's ready to harvest. Another sugarcane's ready to harvest. Like, it would be absolute hereditary monarchy. Ruled by a very brutal dictator. By someone who's a dictator who's extremely brutal. Their end goal, like between the four factions, they'd be in the constant conflict for supremacy. In the communist-controlled areas of the galaxies within 1 million light-years of Earth. Within about 500,000 light-years of Earth. The means of production would be shared among everybody. Their end goal would be world peace. The goal of the music would be to tell a story. It'd be a science fiction story. This is it for this video. Don't forget to leave a like if you liked this video. Dislike if you disliked it. Subs if you loved it. Stay tuned for more. Share this with your friends on social media. As always, stay tuned for more, and peace out. Oops. I accidentally dropped my mouse.